Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and you're listening to Perched on the Top Rope.
The following announcement has been paid for by Perched on the Top Rope.
Welcome, everyone, to Perched on the Top Rope. I am the DSP Lee Walker, and I am here with an exclusive interview with Dr. Tom Pritchard. Tom, how you doing today?
Doing greatly.
Awesome. Just going to start right from the beginning. What was it like training with the Iron Sheik?
He wasn't quite as crazy as he might be now. He was a pretty solid guy, and he slapped me a couple times and stretched me a few times. But overall, it was a very positive experience.
Awesome. Did you ever watch The Young Rock and see Brett Azar, who played the Iron Sheik?
I saw the first episode, yeah, and I did.
What did you think of Azar playing the Sheik?
Well, it was a obvious fictional but autobiographical portrayal, I guess. You know, Sheik was in a lot better shape back then, obviously, and I thought he did a good job playing him. I really did.
Awesome. Now, we know early in your career, you teamed with the man responsible for creating the super kick, Gentleman Chris Adams, even winning the America Tag Team Championships in Gene and Mike LaBelle's company. What was it like working with Gentleman Chris Adams?
Chris was a fun guy. He was young at that time. He had drive. He was energetic. We had a lot of fun together, and I believe L.A. was his first U.S. territory. So he came in and he did this roundhouse kick, and I blatantly stole it and took it back to Texas. But then he went to Texas and made it even better. So, but Chris and I would travel up and down the roads, and he was an interesting guy at the time, and he enjoyed having a good time.
Awesome.
So, and I got along great with him.
Awesome. Now, you know, after that, we know you wrestled in various NWA territories. In 1992, you find your way to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. How were the Heavenly Bodies with Stan Lane formed in 92?
How do they differ?
How are they formed? How was the team formed?
I'm sorry, it's breaking up. But Jim Cornette called me. I was in Memphis wrestling, and Cornette and Cornette and Stan had left Charlotte. They quit Charlotte territory and were going to bring Bobby with him, but Bobby had just signed a new contract, and so Jim needed a partner for Stan. And Jim had kept me in mind from many years before when they were looking for a partner for Bobby again, and I just happened to be working in Alabama. There were no cell phones at that time, so the Charlotte territory had absorbed the Tampa territory. Lane came in and took the place of Dennis for a while, and now it was the opposite, the exact same thing, you know. But Bobby was signed under contract, and he needed a partner. So Jim got a hold of me and asked if I'd be interested in doing this new territory, and I thought, my God, yes. I'd been in Memphis for 5 years, and I thought, what a great opportunity to sit under Jim Cornette and Stan Lane's learning tree for a while, and I had a very good time doing it.
Awesome. Now, we know that Cornette with Smoky Mountain had a relationship with WWF at the time. Stan Lane retired in 93, which you guys had phenomenal feuds against the likes of the Rock and Roll Express. Jimmy Del Rey actually takes over Stan's spot in 93 in WWF. You guys wrestled great matches, SummerSlam 93 versus Steiners, Survivors 93, and even a dark match at WrestleMania 10 against the Bushwhackers. Prior to the 95 release, did WWF have plans for the Heavenly Bodies?
I don't believe so. I think what happened was they knew Cornette was in Knoxville. He sent a promo in. We did a promo one time, and everybody saw it. And they needed, as Kafuji was with Yokozuna, but they needed someone who could cut a promo. And at this time, Fuji was probably out of his element as far as cutting promos and doing things like that. But Jimmy had just opened. He had just opened it, but he'd opened it, and they were looking for a place to filter in new talent and get somebody for Yoko that could talk for him. Jimmy was probably the best at the time on the mic, and I don't think they were looking to Heavenly Bodies as anything other than a one-off deal. But at least we got a job out of it, and we did a little bit, and it was up to us to pursue it, and it just wasn't happening. So no, I don't think in the beginning they had any real serious plans for us at all.
Okay. Now, in Survivor Series 95, you team with the Team Body Donnas, Rad Radford, Skip, 1, 2, 3 Kid yourself, taking on the underdogs, Barry Horowitz, Bob Holly, Hakushi, Marty Jannetty. I interviewed Marty Jannetty about this match, and he said that Skip was the one that had this idea for Jannetty to do a top rope powerbomb to Skip. At the time, we never saw moves like this aside from Sid or Diesel, doing a power bomb on the mat. What did you think of the spot with the top rope power bomb?
Well, I'm sure, especially if Chris came over to Marty and asked him to do it, he was confident Marty could do it. And that was something Chris had used later on. That was Chris's finish in the ECW arena.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought it was... Chris enjoyed wrestling. Chris was very passionate about wrestling. He loved the business, and you have to love the business to go out there and give it your all like that. So I think kudos to Chris for taking it, and kudos for Marty to giving it the correct way.
Yeah. After that, we see you become Zip and actually join Skip, Chris Candido as part of the Body Donnas. How were the Body Donnas formed?
Well, they were done with the Heavenly Bodies, and I said, hey, if there's anything that comes up, I just want to continue working for you guys. They said, how would you like to cut your hair and dye it blonde? I said, absolutely not. They said, okay, cool, click. And so I thought about it, and I called them back and said, well, it's just hair. Let me try it. And it was an offer, and I should have refused, but I still wanted to be a part of the business, and nobody else was calling. There were no other opportunities out there, and it wasn't a good fit. It wasn't a good feel. It wasn't a good time, period.
Okay, well, that brings me to my next question. Did you like being Zip?
Would the answer be no? There you go.
That's the right answer.
Much, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, I didn't care for it at all.
Okay,
it was a miserable existence. It really was, and I should have done something about it, and I didn't. So that's on me. Okay,
well, at WrestleMania 12 on the pre-show, together, you and Chris Candido as Skip win the WWF Tag Team Titles. How did you feel about that moment?
Well, once again, it's bittersweet. It goes in the record book as the Body Donnas and Zip and Skip. If it was Heavenly Bodies, it was one thing. But even if the Tag Team Division was better back then, it wasn't being featured. They were just thrown together teams, and it wasn't really a big... there wasn't a whole lot made of it. The key was on Sonny, and I get that, I understand that, but it just was such a hazy, eclectic time that so many things were going on at once that we had no control of, and so they said, well, we'll give it to these guys just as a bone. And even then, I don't even think they cared if it was a bone or not. They said they didn't care who went over. So we won the draft, or we won the coin toss. house, whatever it is, man. It just wasn't very thought out. It wasn't very thought of.
Oh, wow. Speaking of tag teams, what do you think of WWE's tag team division today, especially after the draft? They broke up 3 or 4 tag teams.
Well, once again, anytime you're in a tag team, it's been said, and it's almost been proven to a fault, that usually one of the guys in the team is going to outshine the other guy, and you need to be able to recognize when it's time to break the team up and feature one or both of the guys in singles competition. But I just don't think WWE is that high on featuring tag teams. You don't have any British Bulldogs. You don't have any Heart Foundations, Road Warriors, Four Horsemen, or those type of players today. And until you do, I don't think there's anybody that can get in tag team wrestling. You don't have a Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express angle to go to today. You just have guys who are thrown together as tag teams, and I don't think that's a high thought of position in WWE.
I got to agree with you, and I'm a big tag team wrestling fan, having grown up with all those names you just mentioned. I'm not a fan of really the throw together teams. It seems kind of, I'm a guy who likes his tag teams matching gear, great chemistry together, and sometimes you see these teams that are just thrown together, and there's none of that.
Right, and to be a great team, you do have to have chemistry. The Freebirds were a great team, and we don't see anything like that.
Yeah, either. I would say the last would be the New Day and Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins as the Street Profits. Those are 2 great teams, but they took Big E out, but they're still the New Day with Xavier Woods and Kofi, and I think those are probably the 2 teams that stick out that don't have a throw together feel.
Yeah, but you need a couple great teams to make it work, and you need a great division with at least 4 solid teams, I would say, and the rest can work as challengers or intersperse whatever you want to do to make it more exciting. I think tag team wrestling has been proven it can be exciting when you have 4 or 5 with a manager, people out there who know how to mix and make it gel.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. What was the reason for Chris Candido as Skip leaving the WWF in '95?
He broke his neck in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that's right.
He dropped the belts to the Godwins, and he broke his neck during that match. And then he came back, and things I had moved on to training, and Chris wasn't very happy with the way things were then either. So I think he just decided it was best to take a hike.
Yeah, I remember that now. Before that incident occurred at MSG, did WWF have plans for the Body Donnas?
No, no, they didn't. I don't really think again, it was one of those things thrown together, and it was during a time of change and turnovers, and I don't believe they had any plans for us whatsoever. And you cannot just be happy to be there. We were just happy to be there. And when you're like that, they don't pay too much attention to you. And it's up to you to pay attention to you and get your career off the line and offer ideas and offer suggestions, especially when nobody's offering them back to you. They may take them, they may not. But it really is up to you or the performer. It was up to us to make things happen, or at least try to make things happen. And quite honestly, I just I was beaten, defeated, and said to hell with it. I really wasn't interested in making it work with the Body Donnas. It was not a good time for me.
Yeah, and you spoke about training with WWF. You got to train the likes of Kurt Angle, Val Venus, later on, Randy Orton, also The Rock, Shane McMahon, the Bella Twins, Brackus, Dolph Ziggler. What was it like training all these wrestlers, and how can someone today reach out for training?
It was really a new time in WWE because they did not have a developmental system like WCW did, and that was what Vince was looking at, is homegrown talent with his own system. And it was a great opportunity. That's how I look at it. And you got some really good guys, and you got some really not so good guys. But these days, we're training in Knoxville, Tennessee, with the JPWA, the Jacobs Prichard Wrestling Academy, and you can find out all the information on jpwrestlingacademy.com. We just started our last class for 2021. We start back, I think, January 4th of 2022. But all the information, you can get my book, my curriculum on there, on jpwrestlingacademy.com. The first page has all the information and about next year's classes, too.
Awesome. Dr. Tom, I want to thank you for taking this time to do this interview. I want you to go ahead and plug any social media that you have, your podcast, and anything else you have coming up. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm on Twitter at Dr. Tom Pritchard, also on Facebook, Tom Pritchard. There's no T in Pritchard, Prichard. And again, all the podcast information and details about our next classes, or where you can get my book, or just get in contact with us. It's jpwrestlingacademy.com, and you can reach us on Gmail at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com.
Awesome. Dr. Tom, thank you for doing this interview today. Fans, make sure you go and you follow Dr. Tom everywhere on social media. Check out his website. His podcast is awesome. Fans, remember, spoiler free's the way to be. We're out.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching that video. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you hit subscribe so you can get all our content here at Perched on the Top Rope. And fans, remember, spoiler free's the way to be. I'm out.